never lie. I rest my case. It's a swimsuit.
Army couldn't even fit in that thing.
You Americans. Sacrebleu. You know what to do. Shut up! He doesn't like being carried, but he'll get over it. It's okay. We're here to help you. Hey, what do you do? Are you coming? There are 5 more kids in here about to burn alive. Little help?
5'5", but I'm not sure, shawty. Wanna be the one, but I know you ain't for me. I'm only 19, and it feels like I've been here for so long, and I fear you've broken.
My mother was diagnosed first, which,
Really?
yes, I always say I know it sounds bad, but I'm thankful that we're in it together.
What happens when a young actress fighting an invisible disease?
Yes, I was diagnosed when I was around 13 or 14. So maybe more, around 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And at first it just started out like I felt like I'd always had the flu. It was very fatiguing, and I always had these sore throats. It was very confusing for me because I remember telling my mom, I'd be like, Mom, I just don't feel good. I feel like I'm sick all the time.
Becomes the face of representation on one of Netflix's biggest family shows.
I am practically a legal adult.
Okay, Miss Grown and fabulous.
Talia Jackson's journey isn't just about landing roles or making music. There are 2 secrets buried in her story that most people don't know about, and the final revelation will leave you questioning everything you thought you understood about child stardom in Hollywood.
Will you still love me when I'm no longer?
Born on August 28, 1998, in Madison, Wisconsin, Talia entered a world already steeped in entertainment. Her mother, Callie Jackson, had walked runways and graced screens as an actress and model. Her father, Trent Jackson, dominated basketball courts with the kind of athleticism that suggested their children might inherit something extraordinary. But nobody could have predicted the specific path Talia would carve, or the battle she'd face along the way.
Get your tail out of here and get to school. No excuses.
Just a doggone minute. Who do you think you are talking to?
Wisconsin wasn't where dreams were supposed to happen for most aspiring actors, yet Talia, along with her brother Armani Jackson, didn't wait for permission to chase their passions. The siblings shared more than DNA. They shared an understanding of rejection, an appetite for creation, and eventually, a disease that would redefine their relationship with their own bodies.
My brother was actually bitten by a tick that carried Lyme disease, and thankfully he doesn't have Lyme disease at all, but I mean, it's really quite hard to tell if you have it or not. That's why I urge everybody to go get tested if you can.
At just 6 years old, Talia was already performing. But this wasn't ordinary child acting. She toured with Andrea Bocelli and David Foster, 2 titans of the music industry. Standing on stages where most adults would tremble, this young girl from Wisconsin learned early that visibility comes with pressure. The family relocated to Los Angeles when Talia was still a child. 12 years in the entertainment capital taught her lessons that no acting class could provide. But something darker was brewing beneath the surface of auditions and callbacks. In 2011, when Talia was 13 years old, everything shifted. The flu-like symptoms that wouldn't disappear, the muscle pain that made simple movements feel like torture, the mental fog that descended without warning. Doctors initially dismissed it, as they often do. But Kelly Jackson, Talia's mother, recognized something was profoundly wrong.
As time went on, we both kind of started getting some symptoms, and we didn't really know it was Lyme disease.
The diagnosis came like a prison sentence: Lyme disease. Here's what most people don't understand about Lyme disease. It doesn't just attack your body. It infiltrates your nervous system, tears through your muscles, and creates a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix.
I didn't really have any of them at all. And my brother was actually bitten by a tick that carried Lyme disease, and thankfully he doesn't have Lyme disease at all.
For a 13-year-old girl trying to build an acting career, it should have been the end of the story. Instead, it became a different kind of beginning.
That's why I urge everybody to go get tested if you can by the right doctors and get the right tests, because you don't really know.
But Talia wasn't the only one fighting. Her mother, Kelly, collapsed under the weight of the same diagnosis. For 2 years, Talia transformed from daughter to caretaker, from child to nurse. At an age when most teenagers were worried about homework and social media, Talia was administering IVs, managing medications, and watching her mother suffer through the kind of pain that language struggles to describe.
My mother was diagnosed first. I always say, I know it sounds bad, but I'm thankful that
The divorce between her parents had already happened. Kelly didn't have extended family nearby. Armani was too young to help. So Talia became the adult in a situation that should never have required one.
I think it's continued to impact me mentally. Also in the sense that for a couple of years I had to physically take care of my mom. I was pretty much her nurse for 2 years, and I didn't really live my life. I've never complained about it because I love my mom, and I unfortunately know exactly what she was going through because I as well have Lyme disease. But I think during that point I was 13.
Those 2 years carved something permanent into Talia's character. She learned that survival isn't glamorous, that love sometimes looks like exhaustion, that being strong doesn't mean you don't break. It means you break and keep going anyway.
Shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
But the entertainment industry doesn't pause for personal tragedy. Auditions continued, rejections piled up, and Talia faced a barrier that had nothing to do with talent. She's biracial. Her mother is Lithuanian, her father is Black. In Hollywood's rigid casting system, this created an impossible situation. Too light-skinned for fully African-American roles, obviously not white enough for Caucasian families. For years, casting directors delivered the same crushing feedback. She wasn't Black enough, she wasn't mixed enough. She was somehow simultaneously too much and not enough of everything.
It was always either a fully African-American family or a fully white family. And I obviously can't play a white person, so...
One particular pilot season nearly ended her career before it truly started. She tested for 2 shows and didn't book either. Then came a straight offer for a series regular role, only to have the entire character cut due to budget issues before the pilot even aired. Talia retreated to Wisconsin, told her team to stop sending auditions, and seriously considered walking away from acting entirely.
To never lie.
The rejection wasn't just professional disappointment. When you pour your entire identity into a dream, every no feels like an existential threat. Talia remembers crying on her bedroom floor for 5 hours straight after one particularly devastating loss. Her mother tried to comfort her with promises that the right project would come, but after 10 years of trying to break through, those promises fell hollow.
I overheard at school that Tyson's girlfriend is using him to buy her food. And not just any food. No, Chick-fil-A.
Then came the audition that changed everything. In 2018, while Talia was still in Wisconsin, trying to figure out who she'd be if she wasn't an actress, her team sent her a script. Family Reunion told the story of a Seattle family relocating to Georgia to reconnect with their roots and extended family. The character of Jade McKellen was everything Talia had been waiting for: a biracial teenager navigating cultural identity, family dynamics, and the complications of adolescence.
Come on, Mom. You know you look good. One of my teachers asked if you were married. Really? Well, what did you say? Oh, I just showed him a picture of Dad. He never asked again.
But Talia assumed it wouldn't work. The description suggested a fully African-American family. She'd been down this road too many times. Still, she recorded the audition. What happened next defied every pattern she'd learned to expect. The turnaround was shockingly fast. Within days, not weeks, she was being called in for chemistry reads. Within a week of her final audition, her phone rang.
So when they called me, I genuinely didn't think they were gonna say like I booked it. Not because I didn't think I did a good job, but because I didn't think I would know yet. And then they did, and so I guess I was like in shock. I was kind of like very shocked.
Talia broke down in the car with her mother. 10 years of rejection, disease, caretaking, and doubt poured out in tears that felt like both grief and relief. They drove to their Lucky restaurant, a spot they'd visited after auditions for years, hoping for good news that rarely came. This time, the news had finally arrived. And bizarrely, that same day, Talia and her best friend booked a Pantene commercial together. After a decade of drought, the flood arrived all at once. Family Reunion premiered on Netflix on July 10, 2019. The show, created by Meg DeLoach, centered on the McKellen family, specifically on Jade, the teenage daughter who'd rather be anywhere than the South, dealing with extended family and cultural traditions she didn't grow up with. The show tackled code switching, respectability politics, generational differences, and what it means to be Black in America, all through the lens of a family sitcom.
That you're just not going to do anything about it, even though you have one of the most survivable forms of cancer. Yeah, I Googled.
Talia's performance as Jade earned immediate recognition. The NAACP Image Awards nominated the show, acknowledging its cultural significance. For the first time, Talia wasn't just acting, she was representing a specific underserved demographic. Biracial families finally saw themselves reflected authentically on screen.
Why don't you hop like a bunny and get me some water? No, crab walk.
The show featured an ensemble cast including Tiamari Hardrick, Anthony Alabi, and Talia's younger castmates. Over 4 seasons and 49 episodes, Family Reunion became one of Netflix's most consistent family sitcoms, running until October 27, 2022.
Getting older has it's made me appreciate things that I once took for granted.
Like what?
Like you.
And as the process went on, I got really attached to the script, and I was just praying and hoping that this wouldn't be another one that I would put everything into and then just still get a no.
But while the show provided stability, Talia's personal life remained complicated. She and Armani both continued managing Lyme disease. Then, in 2019, doctors confirmed that Armani had also contracted it. The entire Jackson family, Talia, Kelly, and Armani, now shared the same diagnosis. The statistical improbability felt cruel. The reality meant constant medical appointments, weekly IVs, and immune systems so compromised that something as simple as grocery shopping became a calculated risk. When COVID-19 shut down the world in March 2020, Family Reunion was mid-production. The cast had been on a week-long hiatus when word came that they wouldn't be returning to set.
Everything's closed, and I was in the middle of shooting season 2 of Family Reunion, which is now postponed until all the studios open up again and they get their contracts worked out.
Like everyone else, they assumed 2 weeks. 2 weeks became months. Months became a year.
Towards something instead of just feeling stuck, which I'm thankful for because I know a lot of people's careers have just come to a halt at this point, which is devastating. So I'm very thankful that I can still continue to work in some sort of light.
For someone whose immune system was already compromised, COVID represented a genuine threat. Talia and her mother couldn't take chances. Every package that arrived at their door had to be sanitized. Grocery stores offered early morning shopping hours for immunocompromised individuals. Kelly would go alone, refusing to risk Talia's exposure. The isolation that everyone experienced during lockdown hit differently when isolation was already your baseline reality. But something unexpected happened during quarantine. While the world mourned normalcy, Talia discovered herself.
Number one thing I feel like I needed to learn, and now I'm continuing to learn, is how to be like alone.
Music had always been part of her life. Those early tours with Botelli and Foster planted seeds, but acting had always taken priority. Quarantine removed that hierarchy. With no auditions, no set to report to, and nowhere to go, Talia finally had space to explore music seriously. She started writing. not as a career move, but as therapy.
You put all of your hard work into, creating your craft.
The emotions she'd been compartmentalizing for years, the pain of watching her mother suffer, the frustration of industry rejection, the exhaustion of living with chronic illness poured onto pages.
It's really actually feels good to finally be able to focus on that, because for so long I didn't really get to do that.
During this period, Talia also navigated a complicated romantic entanglement. She doesn't call it a relationship. The term implies clarity that the situation lacked, but whatever it was, it hurt. When you can't leave your house, can't distract yourself with friends or activities, emotional pain has nowhere to hide. She wrote Piece of Me in her producer's home studio, tears streaming down her face. Everything she wanted to say to someone who'd never actually hear it, translating into lyrics and melody.
You always say you wanna be piece of me.
The song became her way of reclaiming what felt stolen. On April 24th, 2020, Talia released Complicated during quarantine. The track addressed toxic relationships and the moment you finally decide to walk away from someone who makes everything harder than it needs to be.
Baby, this is complicated.
The timing resonated. Everyone was trapped with their own thoughts, confronting relationship dynamics they'd previously been too busy to examine.
It's a song obviously about being in a relationship with somebody who has just overall made things way too difficult.
She followed with 5-5 in 2021, a more playful, TikTok-friendly track that spawned numerous dance challenges.
5'5", but I'm not sure, shawty. Wanna be
Fans created videos, spreading the song organically. For someone used to rejection, watching strangers embrace her music provided validation acting auditions had never quite delivered.
5'5", but I'm not sure, shawty. Wanna be the one.
But it was Piece of Me, released later, that felt most authentic to who Talia was becoming. The track leaned into pop rock and indie influences, genres that felt truer to her actual taste than the more commercial sound of her earlier releases.
If you're not trying to ride with me, you can't get one piece of me.
Talia's music career exists in parallel to her acting, not as a replacement. She collaborates frequently with Armani, who shares both her artistic sensibility and her understanding of what it means to create while managing chronic illness. They're not competing, they're surviving together, creating together, and occasionally confronting the same roles. Which brings us to one of the strangest moments in their sibling dynamic.
My brother went in, and we obviously thought if we were auditioning together, they would probably book us together too, since they wanted a pair that knew each other. But that wasn't the case.
Both Talia and Armani auditioned for a Steven Spielberg film. They went in together as a pair, assuming if cast, they'd be cast together. When the call came that Armani booked the movie, Talia initially thought they both had. The realization that only her brother got it sent her into a week of complicated grief. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. But watching your siblings succeed in the exact opportunity you wanted creates feelings that don't fit neatly into happiness or resentment. The movie was Ready Player One, released in 2018.
First person to find the egg will inherit $500 billion and total control of the oasis.
Armani's role was small, but it was a Spielberg film. Talia had to reconcile her genuine pride in her brother with the ache of her own disappointment. After Family Reunion wrapped its final season in 2022, Talia found herself at a crossroads.
I mean, this trip is gonna be amazing. The food, the fashion, the handsome European boys.
The show had given her visibility, financial stability, and proof that she belonged in this industry. But what came next? She continued releasing music throughout 2023 and 2024, building a following that appreciated her vulnerability and refusal to create purely commercial pop. Her sound, indie pop rock with introspective lyrics, set her apart in a crowded field. As of 2024, Talia Jackson is 26 years old. She remains unmarried and has no children. Her focus stays split between acting opportunities and music that feels personally meaningful rather than strategically calculated. Current projects include developing new music scheduled for release in late 2024 and early 2025, with an EP that's been in progress throughout the year. She's also exploring acting opportunities that push beyond family sitcoms, roles that challenge her range and reflect the complexity of her own experiences. Her net worth is estimated at approximately $2 million as of 2024, built primarily through her 4 seasons on Family Reunion and supplemented by music sales, streaming revenue, and social media partnerships. The Lyme disease hasn't disappeared. Talia still manages symptoms daily: the fatigue, the pain, the immune system that demands constant vigilance. She and her mother still attend weekly medical appointments for treatments. Armani faces the same reality. The disease created a shared language between them, an understanding that transcends typical sibling bonds. Kelly Jackson, Talia's mother, continues her own health battle. The woman who once walked runways now navigates a life defined by chronic illness, but she remains Talia's anchor, the person who refused to let her daughter quit during those darkest moments, who modeled resilience when giving up would have been easier. What makes Talia's story compelling isn't just the disease or the breakthrough role. It's the refusal to let circumstances dictate identity. She could have quit acting after 10 years of rejection. She could have let Lyme disease become an excuse. She could have hidden the biracial experience that complicated her casting potential. Instead, she turned every obstacle into material for her performances, for her music, for the person she's becoming. The first secret? Talia spent those 2 years as her mother's primary caregiver while simultaneously auditioning and managing her own illness. Most child actors struggle with normal developmental pressures. Talia was keeping her mother alive. The second secret lives in something she said during quarantine about finding herself, about realizing she'd spent years using distractions to avoid actually sitting with who she was. The person she discovered wasn't the one she'd been performing. And now, as she builds a career on her own terms, creating music that heals her while representing stories Hollywood tried to tell her didn't matter, Talia Jackson has become living proof that sometimes the roles you fight hardest for aren't the ones written in scripts, but the ones you write for yourself.